How did it make you feel when you got that realization in the beginning?
I realized it when I finished Surah Al-Baqarah.
Okay.
And when I could recite all of Surah Al-Baqarah in one sitting with max 2 mistakes,
Okay.
that's when I realized that this is possible.
Okay.
And it felt really nice.
Okay.
That at that point, I wanted to tell my sheikh to ask me any ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah and I'll recite it to you. And I was like, okay, if I compare myself right now to me back then when he asked me to recite, this would have definitely been more easier doing it this way.
You can miss it if you blink. It's not as big as you might think.
So I want to introduce you to my partner, the co-founder of Warattil Online.
The little things, they hold the key. Whisper truths we need to see.
And this guy has an inspiring story for his memorization journey, and I want to discuss some certain aspects of basically give you some tips, inshallah, and tricks for memorization, especially now that Ramadan is around the corner. Sheikh Uzair, I was actually reflecting about the fact that sometimes beauty hides in the detail. Okay, now when it comes to memorization, or review for that matter for you now, do you find beauty in what you're doing right now in terms of memorization, or is it more of a stress? What do you think?
It's a mix of both, I would say. Towards the beginning of the day when you have a lot of time, you're like, okay, let's enjoy it. Let me see what I could do with it. Let me live it out throughout the day. But obviously, as Isha is getting closer, and then you're like, oh, I still didn't finish this for today, and I'll have to move it on to the next day. Then it becomes more of like a stress, and you're like speeding through it,
And how do you balance that?
Well,
The stitch in the seam that holds it tight. The spark in the dark, not the spotlight.
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Like no mistakes.
No mistakes.
Let's go.
Sincerity's a silent song. Precision hums where we belong.
Okay, that's actually pretty good. And your pronunciation improved a lot. Read this ayah for me.
Sheikh Uzair. So now more of a direct question to you.
yeah.
You're pretty good, alhamdulillah, yani, in terms of the memorization of the Quran. So how did you get to that?
Yeah.
First, how long did it take you?
Yeah.
What is the realization that you had that made you think I can actually reach this level, first of all?
Yeah.
And I want to do this.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know what? I'm satisfied with where I'm at.
So the realization was definitely when my sheikh, he asked me, he gave me a choice to recite from wherever. And then he asked me to recite, and I couldn't get past like a couple of ayat. And that's when I realized that, it was sort of like an embarrassment. It was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. But now I was like, what level do I need to get to? Like, where do I go? And then I saw my sheikh, he's telling me that you should be able to recite from anywhere, where I choose from, not where you choose from, and go till the end, till an-nas. So I was like, okay, that to me sounded like a crazy level. Like, that's unrealistic. But when he showed me how to do it, and he put me on a plan, and he's like, look, if I can do it, you can do it. I was like, okay, so this is possible.
Okay.
And then he just, started the same thing. He's like, take it slowly, go ruba hizb at a time, every week, do a ruba hizb. And then we'll expand on it. We'll do 2
Every week.
every week.
Rubu Hizb.
Rubu
So we're
Hizb.
talking 2.5 pages max, like 3
In
pages.
7 days, yeah.
Yes. So every 7 days is just one Rubu Hizb.
One ruba hizb.
Okay.
Then we added it to 2.
Okay.
And then we took it to a hizb.
Okay.
And then we just built upon it. And I was doing a hizb every single week. And then it was just rememorization all over again.
Okay.
But at this time, it was strong rememorization. And I knew what my end goal was.
Okay.
And it wasn't just competing and going fast, but it was like, I need to get to this level.
Okay.
And in order to get that level, I have to take his advice.
Okay.
I have to follow his routine. And that way it just all worked out. And it just became part of my habit.
Okay, so you have to have something. Otherwise you'll stop.
Yeah.
Which is basically like a transitioning point to my next.
Yeah.
How do you, now that you see that this is the level that you're going after, how do you keep going?
Well, it's just a driving factor. Like, you understand that you want to be like him. You're obviously motivated.
Okay.
But that motivation doesn't always last. That's why you have a routine and discipline. You discipline yourself. That regardless of how you're feeling that day, you're going to wake up to do your daily routine. Even if you don't want to be like that guy anymore, you're not motivated to be like him anymore, but like it's part of your life now. It's part of who you are. It's part of your day. Without this, your day is not done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has to be integrated
Yeah.
in your
And
day.
you're disciplined enough to follow that routine.
Okay. And here I want to mention again another misconception, because again you hear this all over, and I agree with it, but to an extent, like to a certain level. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Qamar, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. And you hear all people quoting this. But if you don't actually put in the effort that takes you to that, you will never achieve it.
That's
You
true.
know, it's just a fact. Every Hafid knows that.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually don't connect with the Quran and make it as a daily drive, you know, it's actually driving your day, it's not going to happen. And in fact, even if you do it and you get to that level and then you leave it, it'll leave you. It'll leave you faster than you leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And this is, you know, subhanAllah, it's a testimony to what the Prophet ﷺ said. And even before that, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَإِنَّهُ لَكِتَابٌ عَزِيزٌ. You know,
Yeah.
it's an honorable book. You can't just leave it behind. You have to stick to it. Getting to the level of actually relying on your hifz more than relying on the mushaf, right?
Yeah.
So this is like, how would you approach something like that? That requires a lot of work.
Yeah.
To get to a level where you're actually relying on your hifz. Like,
Yeah.
even if you are hesitant, you're like, no, actually, I'm pretty, like, I know I've made a mistake before here, for example, or I actually marked that. What would take a hafid to get to that level?
So obviously, it starts very little, right? Instead of going straight to the whole Quran, you start with a surah, or even half a juz, and then you make it into a juz,
Okay.
and then you expand on it, and then you go to a juz, and then eventually you'll get to similarities between 3-4 juz, and then you're like pinpointing these similarities,
Yeah.
and then you perfect those juz before you move on,
Okay.
and then you just keep adding on to it,
Yeah.
whether it's a hizb or a juz, you just keep going and building upon it. Because down the line it gets even harder. Like as soon as you keep adding more and more, it just messes you up, right? So as you go down the line towards 30,
Yep.
it's gonna slow down your process, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a slow process. Yeah.
Would you say that this actually starts while the memorization is taking place, or should it be a different stage after you finish the
Oh
Quran?
no, definitely while you're memorizing.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, because this is a misconception for a lot of people. Like, they approach the Quran as if it's, you know, just one go all the way to finish, and then okay, let me review now. I made that mistake before, and it was just very hard to get back to it after. Like, the level of detail to get to once you finish the Quran is just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's also once you finish it and then you want to restart, that's another second journey.
Yeah.
And then in your back of the mind, you're thinking about how you did it previously and all
Correct.
those years you've spent, right?
Yeah.
It's like, to you, it seems like they went to a waste, and you got to restart again. So yeah.
If we are suggesting that that process shouldn't be a separate process after, how would someone who's still memorizing approach that then?
Well, obviously, if they're in their memorization, they have to perfect what they have first.
Okay.
So whatever it may be, they perfect their previous Ijazah to that level.
How to get to that level?
So it's just for now, if they're not at that level, it'll be a restart for them. You know, it's better to restart now than later.
Okay.
And then you restart it in a way where you're now more focused.
Yeah.
And you're taking down notes and you're realizing the similarities and differences and your mistakes, and you're flagging every single mistake. And then you build up upon it.
How long does this take? Like, for example, let's say, like, we're giving you a specific example here. If you have 5 juz memorized already and you're not at that level yet,
Yeah.
what should take place and how long do you think it'll?
Obviously, it depends on how much the
Yes.
person's doing.
Yep.
But let's say even a page a day, 5 juz, maybe 10 months to a year.
So is it worth it to go through?
Definitely.
It's worth it
Definitely.
to go through 10 months of just review?
Yes, definitely. Because it makes it a lot easier for your next memorization and your new memorization that you'll do. It'll be a lot stronger than compared to coming back to it later on.
Yep. And then at the same time, you can also add to the memorization.
Yeah.
So you can't just stop. Like, you don't have to stop.
Yeah.
You could add, but at the same time, you can't just forget the old memorization that you've done. Otherwise, it'll be, as we said, it'll be a long process after,
Yeah.
as if it's, coming back to it from scratch, basically. There's nothing to get back to.
It's as if you did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, coming back to the level of detail here, understanding that if you want to level yourself up in that, doesn't matter what aspect, it could be memorization, it could be recitation. Even when we're talking about recitation, for example, having a teacher
Yeah.
who teaches you exactly how to pronounce each letter, how to transition from a fatha to a kasra to a dhamma, how do you apply the rules of tajweed, or anything for that matter.
Yeah.
And then going again to memorization or understanding the tafsir, all that.
Yeah.
These are all different skills that you have to dedicate time to level yourself up.
Yeah, and separately.
Separately.
All separately, yeah. And your attention to detail and how much time you spend on it obviously goes up with the amount of stuff you want to do with it. So
you can't-
attention to detail while you're reading. Now you gotta have a separate time for that, or even incorporate it in your revision. But you gotta, be very careful in that part. You can't do anything else, and it's completely different, complete out of your routine. And like that, it's gonna obviously take more time in order to build yourself up higher and higher.
Okay. So you can't just expect that these things will happen naturally.
No.
You have
All
to.
takes practice.
Yes. Like if I want to understand the meaning of the Quran, I will have to dedicate some time for it. And then, subhanAllah, even like understanding the Quran, it's levels. There are levels to that. You could just understand the meaning of each ayah first, but then why was it revealed? How can I connect this ayah to this ayah? In fact, subhanAllah, maybe I mentioned this to you before. I was listening to a podcast recently, and the guest was relating Surah Al-Fatiha. And in fact, subhanAllah, he was talking about Surah Al-Fatiha in a different perspective, completely new perspective, which gave me like just a new way of understanding Surah Al-Fatiha. Because he was relating how Surah Al-Baqarah, or the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, is connected to Surah Al-Fatiha immediately. And we don't even think about that. We don't consider the fact that there is an answer to your dua that you make in Surah Al-Fatiha, which is Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, immediately in Surah Al-Baqarah.
Yeah.
Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Immediately, it gives you the answer. Because you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance, for hidayah. You say, Ihdina, all the time. So how would you be guided? By reading the Quran. By saying, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And then you understand who the muttaqeen are. And how can we relate al-muttaqeen to صراط اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. That means الذين أنعمت عليهم are those who are al-muttaqeen. And then subhanAllah, even when he goes deeper into the surah, like immediately, like the first 2 pages, he relates the categories that most people know, which is the muttaqeen, and then followed by al-kafirin and munafiqeen. And then most people miss the third category, which is actually also mentioned in Surah Al-Fatiha, which is صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم, that's the second one, and then ولا الضالين, which is the third one. These are people who are they are lost basically. And so in that category, where's the answer for that category? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after mentioning the category of الذين كفروا أنا المنافقين, who are basically الضالين, they knew the knowledge but they didn't act upon it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right after, he says يا أيها الناس, which is the general public. So the general public is anyone who hasn't received any guidance, who hasn't started researching the guidance. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is introducing himself to all of us now, right? Especially for these people. If you don't know who Allah is, well, read these ayat. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم, the one who created you, والذين من قبلكم لعلكم, who created everyone before you, لعلكم تتقون, so you can reach that taqwa that we started with, right? So you have to actually act upon, not just have the knowledge, read the knowledge and khalas, that's it. Because you could have the knowledge, but then don't act upon it. And that will make you actually مغضوب عليهم.
Because you know when you don't follow.
Yes. Which is what most people attribute this group to is al-Yahud. They just say, غير المغضوب عليهم is al-Yahud. And this is a more general group. Anyone who receives the knowledge and don't act upon it is مغضوب عليهم.
المنافقين إن شاء أو يتوب عليهم
ليجزي الله الصادقين بصدقهم ويعذب المنافقين إن شاء أو يتوب عليهم.
Just finished Quran classes and it's grocery day today. We have quite the list to go through today. Look at this. Let's just keeps going, mashallah, tabarakallah. Alright, let's go. Yeah, just pretend that I didn't put the camera actually inside. Just pretend. Look at all of that. You see this? Why? Give me half of that. I mean, it's worth it. You put it on salad. Give yourself a little bit dibs al-Rahman. It's beautiful, mashallah. You gotta go for the halal, inshallah. Make everything halal. This is always a struggle for me. Where am I gonna find the cinnamon? Let's go. There! Wow! Who'd have thought, huh? Here's a great find for beans. Nice option. Something that I always try to pay attention to is not supporting any brands that are supporting who you know who it is. So I replaced some of these, like for example, even like that guy to this guy. I'm trying to do my best here. I don't know if these guys are actually involved, but to the best of my ability or my research, I don't think these guys are supporting. So I'm trying to go for that. Again, we have limited choices here, but we try our best. Definitely do that.
You can miss it if you blink. It's not as big as you.
Our brothers and sisters in Palestine are going through a lot, man, and we should never let anything take our minds away from what these guys are doing. The least we could do is to boycott these brands. The least. Donations, make dua, all of that, man. You should never take your mind off of the struggle that they're going through. If it wasn't, I mean, these guys are holding it tight for the ummah. If it wasn't for them, subhanallah. Yeah, so that's the least you could do, man. Do your best, man. If you could do something, and if you guys have any other suggestions, you can leave them in the comments too. Otherwise, you should always do your best, man, because this fight is not a small fight. This is a fight between haqq and batil, you know, between good and evil, and we should always strive to do the best of our ability to choose good and fight evil.
The little things, they hold the key. Whisper truths we need to see. Not the loud, not the show. It's the quiet seeds we sow. The crease in the map that leads the way.
Actually a monkey. Oh my god. So this is just a little intro to what's coming, inshallah, and we're going to talk about Warattil more in detail in the upcoming videos. Here's a little shout out to the one guy that subscribed from the previous videos that weren't even, you know, hey, appreciate it, thank you, man, or woman, but we'll do more, inshallah, and hopefully you find some benefit in all of these videos. This was just like a day in the life, plus so much information here. Hopefully it was helpful, as I mentioned. I'll see you soon. If you need to know more about anything else, let us know in the comments, inshallah, and we'll get to that as soon as possible. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Not the loud, not the show. It's the quiet seeds we sow. The